Hi, welcome to Story Time. Today we're going to be reading the story Halloween Pigs by Rita Balducci, illustrated by Doug Cushman. I wanted to read you guys a book about Halloween since it's coming up so fast. Do you dress up for Halloween? If you do, what are you going to dress up as if you know? Oh, that's so cool. I love it. The wind was whistling through Oinky's little house of straw, blowing autumn right into his kitchen. Oinky sniffed. Apples, he sighed, and corn, and maybe a hint of pumpkin? His brother Pinky shook his head. No, sweet potatoes. Winky, the third brother, inhaled deeply and closed his eyes. I love October, he sighed. The three little pigs all took another deep breath. They could almost taste the good things they smelled. Inky's stomach grumbled, Pinky's growled, and Winky's made such loud noises the little straw house rattled and shook. I'm hungry, Winky snorted. They were all hungry, but the big bad wolf lived nearby, and there was no telling when he might appear, huffing and puffing and making all kinds of unneighborly threats. The pigs couldn't risk a trip to the orchards and fields. So look, they're so hungry, but they can't go where the fruit is because the big bad wolf is there. So there they were, trapped in Oinky's straw house. They were so hungry they could have eaten the walls. A knock at the door made the three little pigs jump. Trick or treat, called a soft voice. It's a trick, Pinky whispered. It's the wolf. But it wasn't the wolf, just Little Red Riding Hood with her basket. You should go trick or treating, she told them. You'll get lots of goodies. And if your costumes are clever enough, the wolf won't even recognize you. That's a smart idea. Oinky and Pinky looked down at Winky. He always made the important decisions. Winky murmured, stroking the hair on his chinny chin. Costumes. Have you ever read this story, The Three Little Pigs? Yeah, we'll see if this one's just like that one. That night, with hearts pounding and bellies rumbling, the brothers set out. But instead of round, pink pigs, three hairy wolves with scraggly tails and pointed snouts emerged from the little straw house. Hee hee hee, giggled Oinky. My costume tickles. Shh, warned Winky. I see the wolf. The wolf was tacking a sign to a tree. Halloween party at BB Wolf's den tonight. Lots of food. Oinky and Pinky didn't need to ask Winky what they should do. The three brothers headed straight for the wolf's den. Do you think that the wolf will recognize that they're in a costume? Yeah, let's see. Happy Halloween, bellowed their wolf host, his yellow eyes gleaming. Come on in. Pinky, Winky, and Oinky had never seen so many wolves in their lives. There were old wolves and young pups, thin wolves and big wolves, dancing wolves, chatting wolves, laughing wolves, and singing wolves. Look, Oinky whispered to Winky and Pinky. There, in the soft glow of an enormous jack-o'-lantern, was a buffet table. Delicious smelling steam rose from the platters of food. Do you think they're excited about that food? Yes, they're hungry. Maybe it was the moon. Maybe it was the music. Maybe it was just pure, unbridled pigginess. But what happened next was not a pretty sight. So wee, cried Oinky, throwing himself on the sweet potato pie. Slurp, 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 slurped Winky, burying his snout in the creamed corn. Oink, 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 snorted Pinky, chopping on the roast beef. So what are they doing? Yeah, they're so hungry that they got to the party and they just ravaged all the food. The table creaked and groaned under the weight of the 3 pigs. The band stopped playing as the wolves stared in shock at the sight before them. Who are they? The wolves murmured to one another. Oinky, Pinky, and Winky didn't stop until they had devoured everything in sight and licked the plates as well. Their costumes were stretched tight across their tummies, but they still wanted more. The wolves had just begun the dunking for apples contest when the greedy trio spied the barrel full of crisp red apples. There was a mad gleam in their piggy little eyes as they dove head first into the barrel, splashing and kicking and sputtering as they sank their teeth into every apple floating inside. When Winky dunked Pinky's head under water in order to reach a particularly big, juicy apple, the wolves began to mutter among themselves. How rude, they gasped. Why do you think that they're eating all the food? Maybe they're eating all the food because they had such hungry tummies for so long. They want to make sure they don't feel that way. Or maybe, I don't know if you know much about pigs, but pigs will eat anything. I had a friend with a pet pig, and all the pig did all day long was eat, eat, eat. Pop! The seam down the back of Winky's pants began to split. Out sprang his curly tail, but nothing would stop him now. Oh, you see his curly tail? A row of banana cream pies was laid out invitingly on another table, ready for the pie eating contest. Oinky bounded across the floor, all his chinny chin chins. He landed on one end of the table and flew through the room like frisbees. Winky and Pinky leaped into the air to catch them in their mouths. Who invited them? The wolves huffed to one another. Can you imagine what that would be like? You're at a party and there's pies that are being flung like frisbees. Looked like a big food fight. Boing! Oinky's belly burst through his costume, but he scarcely noticed. His snout twitched and his mouth began to water. The jack-o'-lantern was still glowing on the ransacked buffet table. The 3 little pigs weren't finished yet. Seeds flew as Oinky, Winky, and Pinky attacked the pumpkin. Gooey shreds of orange pumpkin pulp stuck to their fur as they feasted on the remains of the jack-o'-lantern. Disgusting, cried the aghast wolves. Plink! The last few stitches around Pinky's belly gave way. His costume was hanging on by a thread. Finally, there was no more food in sight. The pigs licked their fingers and smacked their lips. Great party, said Oinky, slapping a startled wolf on the back. Agreed Winky, picking his teeth. What do you say we do this again next Halloween? Asked Pinky, a greedy gleam in his eyes. The wolves recoiled in horror at that suggestion. I have an idea, cried one wolf, anxious to get away from these strange guests. Let's all go trick-or-treating. Yes, yes, chimed the other wolves. frantically rushing for the door. Let's go. Hey, good thinking, the brothers agreed as they walked along to catch up. We could use dessert. A full moon shone on a clearing in the woods. A hush fell over the wolves as they gathered in a circle and looked up. What's the matter with them? Oinky said impatiently to Winky. I thought we were going trick-or-treating. It's a full moon, one exasperated wolf explained. You must know what that means. But the brothers just shrugged. Time for a midnight snack? Asked Oinky, his voice full of hope. What do wolves do when they see a full moon? Can you make the sound? Ow! Yeah. The wolves ignored him. Then, in unison, they began to howl at the moon. What a strange thing to do, the brothers exclaimed. They could be eating instead of howling, but the pigs didn't want the wolves to figure out who they really were, so they went along with the chorus. Arrrr, the wolves howled. Oink, 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 the brothers bellowed at the top of their lungs. The wolves exchanged suspicious frowns, but continued howling. The song got louder and louder. The wolves and the pigs all took one last deep breath for the grand finale, and burp went the three pigs. Rip went their costumes. Do you think a pig would be able to howl at the moon? Yeah, that would sound very different, right? The pigs' disguises all tore apart at that exact moment. There they were, three succulent pigs surrounded by hungry wolves. Suddenly, a deep voice shouted, "Trick or treat! It's the huntsman! Run for your lives!" yelped the wolves, and with great huffing and puffing, they all ran away. Oinky, Winky, and Pinky hiccuped in relief as the huntsman pulled back his cap to show that he was really Little Red Riding Hood. "Are you all right?" she asked her friends as they pounced on the basket of goodies. "We just need a little refreshment after our terrible ordeal," Oinky mumbled through a mouthful of chocolate. She saved the day. She scared away the wolves. And once the candy in Little Red Riding Hood's basket was gone, the three little pigs ran wee, wee, wee all the way home. The end. I hope you enjoyed that Halloween version of Three Little Pigs. I'll see you next time. Bye.